You stuck on me in my laughing eyes. I can't pretend, though I try to hide. I like you. I like you.
Hi guys! This video blog is all about the movie reviews of 3 selected movies. First, The Pride and Prejudice. Second, Babel. Third is Ang Pagdadalaga ni Maximo Oliveros. First, we will review the movie Pride and Prejudice. Pride and Prejudice is a British romance film directed by Joe Wright and based on Jane Austen's novel, starring Keira Knightley as Elizabeth Bennet and Matthew Macfadyen as Mr. Darcy. Real love is fought. This is what the movie Pride and Prejudice is trying to prove to its audience. With just the title, you wouldn't know that it's a romance film. With the generation today, the approach of the film is new because it was created decades ago. The language, set design, and overall face are different. So far, this is the film which makes me awake for the entire period of our subject because I like the story. You wouldn't be caught up to a long story, right? The film depicts the tradition of courtship before in some parts of the world, but I wouldn't go on details with the plot because I find it interesting to review the characterization. Basically, all movies have characters from the protagonist, antagonist to the supporting characters. Unlike any other romance film, this movie is not just focused into one main character. In this film, it is hard to determine who is the protagonist, because in some cases, the characterization differs depending on the situation. Some would agree that Elizabeth Bennet and Mr. Darcy are the protagonists, since they are the main characters. The antagonist is not the mother of Bennet or Lady Catherine, but it's the situation. The situation makes it hard for them to be together. Let's talk about the components of each lead character. Elizabeth Bennet, who is the lead actress, comes from the middle class in their society. Just like any other lead actress, she's an epitome of beauty. She represents the modern concept of women in the society, because she is fierce and independent woman. But because of desperation to survive, her mother sets her for arranged marriage to any bachelor in town. Mr. Darcy, who is the lead actor, is a serious type of man. With a very good family background, he is raised in a well-known family. Every girl in town dreams to be his wife, not just because of physical appearance, but also of his social status. He represents the modern concept of man. He has smooth features, although his characteristic is tough. Both characters complement each other. The story is plain, but the characters give impact and the life to the story. What I liked about the movie is that it strikes the emotion. Every conversation is filled with emotion. Next is the movie Babel. Babel is a drama film directed by Alejandro Gonzalez Iñárritu, starring Brad Pitt as Richard Jones, Kate Blanchett as Susan Jones, Adriana Braza as Emilia, and Rinko Rikuchi as Chieko Wataya. Looking at the title of the movie Babel, I really thought that it's about the story of the Tower of Babel in the Bible. And yes, I'm wrong. When I finished the movie, that's the time when I understand why it's titled Babel. It is entitled Babel because even across nation or race, there is something that connects us together. In the movie, even if the characters are from different country and race, because of the incident that happened to one of the tourists, finding of the owner of the gun connects them. The movie highlighted the relationship towards the family, friends, and opposite sex. In the first scenes, the plot is unclear yet because there are 3 different stories. Yes, it makes me bored at first, but when the story connects with each other, I find it interesting to watch. I must say that the writer is experimenting because it is very hard to connect different stories in one theme. This is one of the movies that leaves its viewers hanging in the end. The ending of the movie is not really satisfactory because It leads the audience to ask themselves questions that are not shown in the movie. But I guess it's a smart move to the part of the writer because it gives impact. The plot has a lot of twists. It makes the viewers think what's next and what really happens. The characters also portray their roles very well. The movie is filled with emotion. After watching the scenes, I have this hard time of moving on to what I've seen. The only thing that discourages me about the movie is that its ending. I am expecting a very tragic or dramatic ending but it fails. And lastly, the movie Ang Pagdadalaga ni Maximo Oliveros. It's a dramatic indie film by Auro Solito starring Nathan Lopez as Maximo Oliveros. In Philippine cinema, it becomes a cliche to have an LGBT as a main character. Our notion of having an LGBT leads the main role is that the movie becomes humorous and at the same time, it can easily attract the affected side of the viewers, which is the emotion. LGBT individuals become a laughingstock in the films, admit it or not. Take for example, films which are starred by Vice Ganda can earn blockbuster hits most of the time because number one, he is a famous comedian and number two, people label him as a funny person all the time. But mainstream movies usually do not depict reality. They spoon-feed the people just the tip of the iceberg on what is really happening in the status quo. I've been searching for a film which is somewhat close to reality or even shows realism until I watched it. The film is very realistic to its content. It is about the story of a normal gay teenager who lives with his father and two brothers in a slum area. Maximo's mother died when he was still a kid, so he stands as the mother of his family. He cooks food and takes care of them. At an early age, he becomes responsible and the cruelty of life becomes visible to him. The story is also about the teenage love. Maximo meets a new assigned police officer in their place and later on he falls in love with him. It changes him and his point of view in life. Just like any other teenage love, which we would do anything just to make the people we love happy, Maximo also does the same. The only difference is that he has this kind of special teenage love because of gender. The plot starts to twist when the police officers are accusing Maximo's father and his two brothers as the culprits for the incident that happened in their place at that night. Victor, who is the police officer, is already starting to investigate Maximo's family, and that makes Maximo also starting to doubt his father and his brother's real occupation. In Status Quo, Maximo's life is visible in the society. Like in the movie, injustice, gender inequality, and social unrest are present in our country. The writer of the movie only uses Maximo as a representation of what is evident. The plot and the story is good, but there are scenes which are draggy because of the fact that the most scenes are uncut. There are scenes also that the character's emotion and impact is just neutral. The movie also has diegesis in which some scenes are no longer incorporated because it's already understood. For example, the photo of his mother is repeatedly shown. This makes the viewers understand that his mother is already dead. The part when his brother went home with his shirt stained with blood, it gives the viewers the idea that his brother has killed someone or is engaged in killing. Pinoy films are fond of adding diegesis in the plot because maybe to make the story shorter or to give impact to the viewers. The other movies out there which are way better than Pagdadaga ni Maximo Oliveros. But for a raw and uncut movie which is created years ago, this movie is a great starter.